What we do here is go back.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Music Mondays with Brian Otch. That's right, this is the show where we talk about music photography. Oops, I did it again. Yes, that's right. This week we're talking about Britney Spears. And we're going back to 2016 to the VMAs at Madison Square Garden. This is August 28th, 2016. And I was asked to shoot this for Getty, and it's always fun to shoot the VMAs. If you're a music photographer, they're the gift that keeps on giving. You can get a lot of different acts in one night, and usually they're pretty iconic performances. And that's why we're going to talk about this photo. So for this particular VMAs, my station, or where I was shooting from, was the back balcony at the garden. And if you've been to the garden, you know that the back balcony is kind of a long way from the stage. So what you do is you bring a long lens. And usually, if you're shooting from there at the VMAs or something like that, you would bring a 600 millimeter. That's the lens you would shoot this with. That's how you get close to the stars. It's a lens that you would shoot football or soccer, something with a long throw. And 600 millimeters is usually what you would bring. However, I chose to do something different, and it ends up being that's how I got this shot. I rented a 200 to 400 Canon. That's right, it's a Canon 200 to 400 f4LIS. And it's a very cheap lens. It's only $11,000, which is why I rented the lens. And it's an amazing lens because it gives you that reach. It's as short as the 70-200 on the long end, but it gives you a 400 reach. But then it has a built-in teleconverter, a 1.4, so that gives you like, I'm not a math person, that's why I'm a photographer. So it gives you like, I don't know, a 520, 540? Somebody correct me. I really have no idea. Anyway, it gives you almost a 600, but it gives you the added flexibility of being able to zoom in and out, which is very important because that's how I got this shot. So let's bring it up right now. And this is Britney, and she's performing on stage at the VMAs. Now, this was cool because we hadn't seen Britney in quite a while. She was always around, usually, and especially in LA. And then she kind of went into hiding. She performed in 2007 at the VMAs, and it was roundly criticized. And then she came back, and this was supposed to be the big, debut, the big reveal. She's coming back to perform, and it's exciting, and everybody's excited and all that stuff. I was ready, and I knew that was going to be a big moment of the night, and you want to be ready. So I thought to be ready, I wanted as much flexibility as possible. I don't like shooting long primes generally. If I have an option, I will try to shoot some sort of zoom just because I like flexibility. Some photographers don't, which is totally fine. That's why photography is great. You can do whatever you want, make your own choices, and see if they work out. So anyway, this was an interesting thing because she started this performance and there was a Steadicam on stage with her because the VMAs are live, or at least this one was. And what that means is there was a crew of 2 people on stage with her, about 5 feet from her, shooting with a big, video camera, film camera, and it's a Steadicam, and, there's a guy there with, the cable, and there's 2 people, and basically what it means is they're in your shot, and you can't say, hey, can you get out? I know you're shooting live, but I need to get this shot. It doesn't work like that. Generally, still photographers shoot around the video, not the other way around. It just doesn't happen. So we were trying to get the shot, as she was starting out. She was laying on the stage and doing this weird, I'm not sure what it was actually, but it was interesting. And finally, the Steadicam guys walked off, and they went to the cameras in the back so that we could get the shot also, which was very cool. And the thing was, we didn't know what was happening. It was dark, and then there were these weird hands, coming in that were backlit. Those are actually hands that are backlit onto a white scrim with a really powerful light. And they're kind of doing like this and pointing and stuff. But nothing's really happening. It's just a jumble of, hands and stuff. And then all of a sudden, they all kind of pointed to her, and she stood up and did that pose. And if you were shooting with a 600, you were way too tight. I mean, you got a little bit of those hands, but you didn't get the shot. You got her in the gold, whatever it is, jumpsuit, but you didn't get the whole thing. And I was shooting really tight. And then when that happened, I was able to zoom out and get the whole stage and get the hands and get her doing the pose, and then shot the rest of the performance. So it was very important to have a flexible lens, to have a zoom at that time. That lens is amazing, by the way. It's incredibly sharp. It's very fast. It's probably one of the best lenses that Canon makes right now, I would say. Anyway, back to the shot. When I shot that, I knew it was good. You know, generally you know if something's good, and you certainly know if something's bad while you're shooting it. But I tagged it. You know, I hit the protect key on the back of the Canon that I was using. And that was just to signify to my editor, because Getty had on-site editors. Generally at a huge event, we're going to have a bunch of editors who are working our photos right away to get them out, because basically speed wins. You know, you want to get the best content out as quickly as possible. And the Getty editors are amazing. They coordinate everything. They have card runners, which are literally people who run and get your card and run back, hence the name card runner. And they will deliver the card to the editor, and the editor will import it. And if you tag an image or a couple images, generally that says to the editor, this is really important. You may not like it, but this is important. You should look at it quickly. And so they were able to look at this quickly, and it was out and on the site in like 5 minutes or whatever. Maybe faster, I'm not sure. They're pretty amazing. So this got out quickly, and the cool thing was it was picked up everywhere. You know, this is the first time she performed in a while, and this was picked up in a lot of magazines and stuff, but it was also USA Today Entertainment Photo of the Year. It was on the end of the year list. It was one of the entertainment photos of the year, which is very cool. You know, you want your best work to get out there. You know, you want people to see it. That's kind of why we do this job. So that was very cool. And as I said before, I shot this with a Canon. This was a Canon 1DX, the original 1DX, great camera. This was shot with the aforementioned 200 to 400 f4Lis. This was shot at 280 millimeters, so kind of right in the middle of the range. And it was 1/320th at f5.6. Again, with your shutter speed, with shooting a long lens, you want to shoot 1 over your lens length. So if you're shooting with a 300, you want to shoot at least 1 over 300 to make sure it doesn't shake. And yes, these lenses are stabilized and everything, but it's just a general good rule to do anyway. It was shot at 5.6, like I said, and this was ISO 8000. So even though we're shooting the VMAs and it's at the garden and everything, the lighting still pretty much is terrible. So that's why you're at 8000 all the way in the back. You're trying to get enough light. And this was probably underexposed at least a half stop, and my editor was probably like, this is totally underexposed. But anyway, it turned out great. It's a beautiful shot. It's very cool. And it's a prime example of what I say of content meaning context. And what that means is Britney is the content, and the context is she hasn't performed in like, I don't know, 10 years or something like that. So people are going to be looking for that. So that's content meeting context, which is why this went everywhere and why it's a good photo. So thanks for joining me for Music Mondays. We'll have another Music Mondays next week, and I appreciate it. Thank you.